Hello, third grade scientists, and welcome back. Today, we are going to try some fun air pressure experiments that you can do with some simple materials at home. Remember, you're studying air pressure in connection to your Unit 4 in science on weather and climate. So let's get going and have some fun. Before we start the experiments, let's just remind ourselves of what air pressure is. So what is air pressure? Well, air pressure is the weight of air molecules pressing down on the earth. The pressure of the air molecules changes as you move upward from sea level into the atmosphere. The highest pressure, or the greatest amount of pressure, is at sea level, where the density of the air molecules is the greatest. Take a look at this picture of this empty water bottle. This bottle has no water in it. The cap was put on it at the top of a mountain. The person climbed down the mountain holding this empty bottle. As they got closer and closer to the bottom of the mountain and closer and closer then to sea level, the greater the air pressure in the atmosphere is on the bottle. And you can notice that as the bottle starts to get crushed in, the closer and closer the person got to the bottom of the mountain and therefore to sea level. So let's try this out. Let's try experimenting with this concept of air pressure with some simple materials that you might have at home. You'll need 2 empty soda bottles with the caps, water, so you should do this over a sink, and a little push pin. Very simple materials. Okay, this is called the leaking soda bottle, and this is an experiment you can try at home. Take an empty soda bottle and you're going to poke a hole in the side of the soda bottle about a third of the way up. And you can use the push pin, right, to press in, and then take that push pin and wiggle it around a little bit to make the hole a little bit bigger, right? You want a pretty good size hole. You can even take a pencil or a pen and push it in there just to make it a little bit bigger, but no bigger than your finger. Once you have a hole in the bottle that you're happy with, you're going to take your bottle over to the sink. You're going to cover the hole with your finger. Make sure you cover it tightly. You're going to put the bottle under the sink and fill it up. Remember, as you're filling it, don't take your finger off the hole. Once the bottle is full and your finger is still on that hole, you're going to take the cap and screw it on tightly. What do you think will happen when you remove your finger? Well, let's see. I have a bottle here that I filled at my sink, poked a hole, held my finger over the hole, and I actually added a little food coloring so that you could see it's full. So here's my bottle. The hole is here. The cap is on nice and tight. What do you think will happen? Think about air pressure and the air pressure that's outside of the bottle. When I take my finger away, even though there's a nice size hole there, no water is leaking out. Surprisingly, the water doesn't leak out as long as the cap is kept on. This is because the air pressure is pushing on the hole and preventing the water from running out. What do you think will happen if I loosen the cap on the bottle? Why do you think that will happen? And what does it have to do with air pressure? Well, let's see. If you said the water would leak out from the hole once I loosen the cap, you are correct. Once I loosen this cap, the weight from the atmosphere is going to enter the bottle from the top, from a different direction, pressing down on the water and pushing out of that hole. So let's see if that's true. I'm going to start loosening the cap and you're going to hear it and see it start leaking out. If I close the cap, now the pressure is coming from outside the bottle and the hole stops leaking. Try this out for yourself, boys and girls at home. I know you'll have a lot of fun with this. If you would like to have some more fun with this experiment, take a second empty water bottle, one that you have not poked a hole with in yet. Take that bottle and take that little push pin again. This time, you're going to take the push pin and you're going to poke some little holes around the bottom of the bottle. Notice my soda bottle has like these little feet. I'm going to just poke a hole in each one of those feet. So it's pretty far down at the bottom, not all the way at the bottom, about an inch up. And I'm going to do, this has 6 feet, I'm going to do 6 holes. One in each. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing we did with the last bottle, but the fun part about this one is you don't have to put your fingers over the holes. You don't have to do anything. Put the bottle under the sink, fill it with water, and try not to squeeze it. Once the bottle is filled with water, you're going to put the cap on, and I recommend holding it from up here. This way you're not squeezing or putting any pressure on the bottle. Put the cap on nice and tight. You don't have to cover the holes this time because they're super tiny. Then you're going to lift the bottle up, hold it from the bottom or from the cap, and watch what happens. I have one here filled. Once again, I put some food coloring in my water so that you could see that the bottle is filled. I have a hole poked all the way around the bottom of the bottle. You can see I'm holding it up from the neck of the bottle, or I can hold it from the bottom. No water is leaking out. But if I unscrew that cap, what's going to happen? You're going to hear it start going into the pan. We have like a little water sprinkler happening. And if I close the cap, you hear the water stop. The cap is like an on and off switch for your sprinkler. So boys and girls, try these at home. I know that you'll have fun with them. And the reason that they work is because of the weight of the atmosphere. The force of the air pushes through the hole in the bottom, and that force is greater than the gravity that would pull the water down. But when you loosen the cap, the weight from the air can push down through the cap opening, and since the pressure is the same, the force of gravity is now able to pull the water out of the bottle and the water leaks through the holes. Have fun with these easy and fun air pressure experiments. I know you're going to have a great time. Happy learning, third grade scientists.